Welcome all you Plus 2 Comedy modifiers to another episode of the Plus 2 Comedy Podcast. I'm your host as always, TV's Noah Houlihan, having a bad hair day. And before we get to our horrendous episode with Jeff Stormer, I have to tell you about some upcoming shows. We are heading down to Maryland for MagFest. Yes, we will be there the 4th through the 7th of January, where we will be taking part in Mag Laughs, we will be taking part in the improv show, and we will be playing a round of Game the Gamer. They haven't released the schedule yet, but I can tell you that these events will be taking place. So come see us at MagFest. For more information, go to magfest.org. Also, on January 6th, we will be at KatoriCon. We will be playing the dating game, doing some stand-up comedy, and hosting the charity auction. You may think, hey, didn't you just say you're going to be at MagFest? Yes. We don't know how we're going to solve this. We have like 6 plans on how we can solve this, but we're not going to be able to say for sure until the schedules come out. So we have a plan. We will be at both, because we're Plus 2 Comedy. So come see us at either MagFest or KatoriCon. For more information on KatoriCon, Google it. Trust me, it's easier. KatoriCon. Also, before we get on to the show, this episode is brought to you by the Talking Nog podcast, which means I am contractually obligated to read the following ad. The Talking Nog podcast is a yearly tradition about a yearly tradition. Come, sit by the fire and enjoy a few mugs of eggnog. Go to soundcloud.com/talkingnog on December 20th for a Nogtastic experience. If you have any questions for Jeff Stormer, the host of Talking Nog, he can be reached at talkingnog.aol.com. talkingnog@aol.com. talkingnog@aol.com. For all your Nog questions, opinions, photos for the podcast, recipes, stories, and audio submissions are welcome. So, do that. I was contractually obligated to read that. It's going to be Nogtastic. And now, without any further ado, take it away.
Who's ready for a podcast?
Is his name Chad?
Chat.
Chat. His name's Chat?
Who's ready for a podcast? Who's here to do other things is currently getting annoyed by a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. This is the Plus 2 Comedy Podcast coming to you live from Gamers Vault. That's 175 Route 70 in Medford, New Jersey. I'm your host, as always, TV's Noah Houlihan, joined, as always, by the diehard to my gremlins, Mr. Will Liam. How you doing, Will?
That was a very nice one.
Yeah, 2 Christmas movies.
I'm more of a Gremlins. Die Hard's all right. I don't got on my way to watch it, but I will watch some Gremlins.
What do you got against Die Hard?
No, I prefer Gremlins.
Okay.
I just said I liked Die Hard.
When I was a kid, I didn't see Gremlins until I was probably a young adult because I was deathly afraid of them, and I thought it was going to be the scariest movie in the world.
Did you see Gremlins 2?
No, I refused to see either of them, and then I saw them as adult, and I was like, this is a comedy movie
Yeah.
full of jokes.
Move your mic a little closer to you. You're a little...
And I don't know quite why I was so terrible.
There we go.
I guess they're scary looking, but I definitely watched it and was like, I kind of missed out on that.
In case you're wondering, our guest this week is the host of All My Fantasy Children. He is the host of the Party of One podcast. He is often insulted by Will Liam on this very podcast.
Like twice.
He is a play-by-play and color commentator on Cosplay Pro Wrestling, and he has no other projects. Please give it up for Jeff Stormer.
Noah, it is just, I'm so happy to be here. Real quick, I do have another project. It is
a show where you talk about Gremlins 2?
It is not.
Ooh.
But
I would really like to talk about Gremlins.
Do you want to start a Gremlins 2 podcast?
Yeah. Christopher Lee's in Gremlins 2.
Well, too bad because I'm mad at you.
Count Dooku. What?
I also have a third podcast. I don't know why you didn't mention it.
Because it's dumb.
You might notice that I'm wearing an eggnog-themed Christmas
sweater.
sweater.
I didn't see that.
I host a podcast called Talking Nog. It is the world's only eggnog enthusiast podcast.
Are you positive?
No.
Have you ever Googled it?
Nope.
I'm Googling it right now. I'm going to show
I could tell you I have Googled it.
Are we the only one?
You're the only eggnog specific one.
Yeah. All right. I'll take it. We're the only eggnog enthusiast
Nog
podcast.
podcast.
I bet we're the first result.
Yeah, you're not.
We're not.
Eggnog riot.
I have a bit later, and you guys are ruining it.
I host a podcast called Talking Nog. It is an eggnog enthusiast podcast. We publish one episode a year.
When do you do it?
Around Christmas time. It is Talking Nog is a yearly tradition honoring a yearly tradition. We talk about the past, present, and future of everyone's favorite eggy, creamy Yuletide treat. We look at listener photos. We answer listener questions.
Who asked questions?
Got a lot of questions.
Wait, yeah, did he say listener photos?
You look at listener photos.
So there's just photos of people.
Yeah.
Photos of
We have
and you look at them while recording a podcast.
Yes.
silently.
Yes. Well, no, not silently. People send me photos of them
Of
drinking
themselves?
eggnog. Yeah. And I describe I
Who are these people?
lovers of eggnog.
So you're just gonna
feel
say
in the
lovers.
Lovers, dreamers,
People
Holiday
who own
believers.
cameras.
people who own cameras. Some of them own phones.
Yeah, I can't imagine a camera existing that isn't a phone.
Yeah, we're kind of in that time now. But
What are you with the hand signals?
I'm
Jesse's
thirsty. I'm very loud, and I apologize.
has been doing commando hand signals this entire time, and it's really
understand.
distracting.
Guys, let's continue to do the podcast.
Yeah, okay.
I
That's
describe-
really more of an eggnog sweatshirt than a sweater.
That's fair. It's an eggnog themed sweatshirt, but it is holiday. It's eggnog themed, and I think that's really the main thing. I guess this is 3 times now you've been mean to me for no reason. A little bit of backstory, if you haven't been paying attention.
They know what's happening if they've listened this far.
That's fair.
But also to past podcasts, I think, is what
Yeah,
Jeff was bringing up. Because you tend to insult Jeff's work
repeatedly.
repeatedly on this show.
Without even realizing it, which kind of makes it more hurtful.
No. Why does it make it more hurtful?
Because you're never thinking about Jeff.
In like a.
Because, like, if you were trying to hurt me, I've built up walls over years and years of to build up walls against, like, intentional. It's just saying things that cut to my core
Yeah.
without intending
What
it.
was the second one?
Well, I know the first one was that Jeff, of course, hosts Party of One.
I will listen to no role-playing
The
podcast.
actual play podcast built for 2.
Yes.
And Will has gone on record to say that the Adventure Zone is the only good actual play podcast
Yep.
in existence.
Yeah, I was watching the Twitch stream when that happened.
Yeah.
It was great. It was a good day.
You actually might have mentioned that you had been searching for a while for a good one.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't
Yep.
find one.
Yeah.
It's not one
Yep.
out there.
And then you mentioned on a later episode that people who
Oh,
play
yes. You said D&D's got to have at least 3 people, or else it's sad.
it's
garbage.
sad. Yeah.
Which, again, just real hurtful.
Yeah. I only hate Jeff for talking Nog. I think
Yeah, that's fair.
I think Party of One is a very good show.
I mean, Talking Nog really is my masterpiece, but Party of One's okay.
This is going to be a real
If
awkward podcast
wait.
if every time you bring up one of your podcasts, one of us is angry.
If
I like his podcast.
I have a question
All of
for you
them.
real quick.
All the ones he does.
Wait, question from
If I
Mr.
buy an
Stone.
ad spot on this week's episode, will it soften your opinion of Talking Nog?
It will force an ad to play.
Give me $5.
That's good enough.
Oh, are you actually? Oh, God.
Here you go.
All right.
Cash.
Get a
This
stack of
episode of the
five.
Plus 2 Comedy Podcast is brought to you by a dumb podcast called Talking Nog. It's the only dumb podcast that's dumb.
$5 well spent.
So, Jeff, I'm not just going to insult Talking Nog.
We're
this
going to
entire
insult your
time.
full body of work.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Deep dive. I got
Talk
a lot
to
of
me more
things to
about
insult.
All My Fantasy Children.
All My Fantasy Children is a podcast in which my best friend, Aaron Catano Sayas, it is a world-building and character creation podcast fueled by listener prompts. My best friend, Aaron Catano Sayas, and I...
That's his full name?
Yeah, Aaron Catano Saez, my best friend in
Right.
the whole world.
It's hurtful.
You see how it feels
You
when somebody
came here on purpose to do this.
You see how this
You
feels?
planned this spite. This is premeditated hurting.
This one actually wasn't, and you see how it hurts more than if I had planned it? You see how it hurts more, Will? It hurts worse when I didn't plan it.
Thank you for joining us as we watch friendships slowly die.
My
Live
other
on
best,
Twitch.
my other best friend, Aaron Catano Saez.
He softened it a little bit.
We take listener prompts submitted through Twitter, Facebook, email, Discord, etc., and we spin them into role-playing game characters, fantasy characters. We tell stories about them using a bunch of different role-playing games. We roll on random tables, and it's cool. We kind of built this whole fantasy world week by week, and we introduce different characters, and nowadays we kind of also do some actual play stuff. We do some audio drama. It's really cool. It's a lot of fun, and it's cool to, like, hang out with, like, I mean, the both of you know, you at least marginally like each other. It's cool to hang out with a good friend for an hour to do a cool thing. And it's cool to, like, make something special.
I never see Noah outside of plus two comedy things.
Being an adult is finding a way to see your friends and lying to yourself and saying it's work.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Because I would never see Will if it wasn't for this podcast, and I would be really sad.
Yeah,
I enjoy hanging out with Will, but like I if I don't feel productive, I feel like I'm cheating the world
of your greatness,
of my greatness.
Yeah,
I have that thought. I'm like, man, I never see Noah. No, I see Noah a lot.
We just never do fun things. We're just always doing this.
That's why I have 3 podcasts, just so that I can hang out with my friends.
Have friends come over. They won't see you otherwise.
Thank God Twitch exists, because if Twitch didn't exist, I would never justify playing video games alone.
Yeah.
I was like, no. This is for the masses that come and sit in our chat room and say, hey, good shot. Thanks, I need that. I'm providing a service. I'm not just entertaining myself. That would be selfish.
Party of One legitimately came from, like, didn't feel like I was playing enough role-playing games.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need to do something. I need to find a way. I can't just ask people to come play role-playing games with me, especially if they're people that I don't know directly. But if I claim that it's for a podcast, then it's like they're doing a promotional thing, and then they have to hang out with me.
And you got in at the perfect time for this show, because now the argument is, hey, we can play D&D without recording it, right?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. Actually,
you can't.
It's a thing recently came out that legitimately nowadays about 50% of the D&D audience has come to it through streams and podcasts.
Really?
And so, like, it really looks like the future of D&D is increasingly going to be at least have to acknowledge streams, podcasts, etc., because there are huge swaths of people that think, when they think of the experience of playing D&D, they think of Critical Role or One Shot or Party of One, for the 4 people that have told me that they got into role-playing games. And I appreciate all of them. I mean, that
all
came
4
out,
of them.
All 4 of them. But, like, yeah, there are people that legitimately think, when they think role-playing games, think podcasts and streams.
Yeah.
And Wizards, like, did polls and studies and stuff and said, it's about half of our audience, which is
that's
huge.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's a huge number.
Because I got invited to join a D&D group, and I never have time, but I was like, for these guys, I'm going to make time. And I asked when we were doing it, and the response I got was, I don't know, we still have to buy microphones. I was like, wait, what? It's like, oh, yeah, because we got to record it. And I was like, oh, this is a whole new thing. Oh, no. Now I don't think I can commit to this.
To a podcast.
Yeah. If there's going to be people who think I'm going to be there every week that are not you guys. I know you guys. I can betray you and bounce anytime I want. But strangers on the internet are going to be upset that I'm gone. I'm working some stuff out on this podcast about how I live my life.
No, are you okay?
No.
Okay, good.
Put a lot of unneeded pressure on myself. That's all.
No, why don't you talk about it with your best friend? Me.
Why are you...
I'm sorry, Will. I'm being real. I think I'm done being mean to Will because I really like Will, and I'm tired. I can't keep it up. I can't stay mad at you, Will.
No, thank you.
I want to talk real quick about Party of One.
I just stopped myself from attacking Noah's
Yeah.
fiance just now.
What is happening, guys?
She thought it would be her. I was like, there's no way.
My fiance just picked up a knife, just so you guys know. So
Yeah, let's talk about Party of One.
Party of One.
We'll
I
talk
love
about
Party of
more
One.
Jeff stuff.
Thank you.
And I remember when you came
Stop.
to me with the idea for the show.
I did actually.
And-
Plus Two Comedy. You specifically.
Thanks.
Well, I don't know if you know this actually.
No, I don't,
No.
but you didn't have to cut. Nobody else knows.
Well, I'm saying because I emailed Noah.
Mhm.
Noah's actually the second person in the world to know that Party of One was good. Like to have heard the concept for Party of One.
Mhm.
My wife, producer of the show, Jen Frank, is the other person.
Yes.
Because I was like, I want to do a thing. She's like, why don't you do a podcast? And we kind of like talked about the idea, developed the concept. And then I pitched it to you as like, why don't you expand the Party or the Plus Two Comedy Network and add a show hosted by your buddy
remember
Jeff
we were
Stormer?
going to have a network?
Yeah.
And then so you were the second person to ever hear about this because I didn't think Will liked me.
No.
Yeah.
Had I met you? Yeah.
I don't think so.
You just. But how could I not like
No,
you?
I think we met at a party. Maybe.
Yeah, but I might have been not okay.
That's fair.
There's a good chance that Will was not
Yeah,
okay
I just
at
was
that
like,
party.
yeah.
But I remember you told me about this idea, and I really liked it. And then I felt like it only took you 8 episodes to have a better podcast than me. And I was like, oh. Like I watched it grow in numbers so quickly. I was
Well,
like,
Jeff
oh.
did the very smart thing of that the secret to podcasting, and that's to make it about a thing. Yeah, we skipped that part.
I thought you were going to say not recorded in a store.
Ooh, look, we've made a lot of mistakes.
We're committed to them, though.
Yeah,
203 times.
being in a store is the only thing we have other than 2 white guys.
Well, we
The
always
foundation of any podcast.
we are an interview podcast. We bring a guest on to talk about their thing, and then have them listen to us when we have to talk about a video game we played. Which reminds me, we like to geek out on this show.
Oh, do we like to geek out on the show?
And we do it with a segment called What You Watching, What You Reading, What You Playing. It's where we talk about what we're watching, what we're reading, what we're playing. Jeff, you're not new to the group. You've been on, I think, more than any other guest that we've ever
Yeah.
Take that, Batich.
had. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as a booked guest, this is your third appearance.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
Getting that hat trick.
yeah, the hat trick.
I keep making podcasts just so I can come back on Plus Two Comedy.
Yeah, it's
We
been
have
working well.
to have you every time you make a podcast.
Yep.
Yeah, it's contractual, even if it's a dumb one about a beverage.
once a year podcast.
I don't make dumb podcasts. I make art.
Oh, that's all right.
You know what's
When's
weird
that art
is
coming
that
out?
We've made a whole generation that when we become grandparents and die, our grandkids can be like, "Oh, I wish I knew Grandpa better." It's like, "Oh, well, here's 300 episodes
Yeah.
of
yeah.
him talking."
Yeah, we happen to have 300 hours of him rambling on. What about mostly that he's going to edit this later?
Grandpa sure loved Squarespace.
Where's all that money he made from the Squarespace ads? Where's the Squarespace fortune he clearly has? Jeff, what have you been watching?
We've been watching. It's called Midnight Diner Tokyo Stories.
Go
It's an
on.
orig-
I
it's
like
an
all those words.
It's a Japanese language original series on Netflix.
Live action.
Yes.
Okay.
It is about a midnight diner, which is a diner in Japan that is open from midnight to 7 a.m. every day. Those are the only hours they're open. And there's no menu. The owner, who's called Master,
Nice.
Master will make you anything that you can think of as long as he has the ingredients in the back. This is the
Nice.
entire premise
He
of the
can
show.
think of.
Anything you ask for.
Okay, so
If you
he's
ask
not like,
for it-
"Hey, you're an omelet guy."
Well, if there was an episode about rice omelets, and it's
Ooh.
like every episode is built around a dish because like a person comes in and orders a dish and he makes it for them, and then you follow like a chapter of their life. Usually they fall in and out of love, or with various love stories and family stories, all built around people coming in and out of this like midnight to 7 a.m. diner.
Is this a real like? Does this diner exist?
No, it was based on a manga, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was based on a manga, I believe. But no. There is a Japanese language drama about real diners called Wakakozake, which is about a woman who goes out at night by herself and goes to bars and drinks and eats. And it is.
Is her name Guy Fieri?
I wish. But it's
I really
great.
wish it was a Guy Fieri manga.
But yeah, those episodes take place at real things, and it's great because all of those episodes are just this woman. She'll be in her office and be like, "God, I really want a beer."
Got to go to Flavor Town.
And then she goes to a restaurant and just like, beer. It's very good.
It sounds good.
I've been watching a lot of Japanese food dramas.
Yeah, that's something we need to do. I've been neglecting my anime, which neither of the things you
Yeah,
just
they're both live
described
action shows.
were anime, but I've been
I
ignoring
assume
my
Japan's
Japanese
a
culture.
cartoon.
Yeah. It's like Roger Rabbit over there.
Oh, I want to see that movie.
Apparently, I'm being told by the Party of One research department that there is
Ooh.
an anime version of Wakakozake.
Oh, good. I will definitely binge that and
Yeah,
write
I
some
don't want to
jokes
see
about
real
it.
Japanese people. I only want to see their cartoons that look more European.
Will, what are you watching?
The views and will of Will Liam do not necessarily reflect Noah Houlihan or Plus Two Comedy Incorporated.
Yeah, they do reflect Talking Nog, though.
Yes.
They sure don't. Though, actually, funny story. Now that reminds me of a funny story. I was talking to Noah
It's my
about
part
it,
of the segment, but yeah, just
and
step all over it.
I'm going to. Noah had said that he thought that you were a guest host on Talking Nog.
I did.
Oh, that would have been nice.
So I think that I'm going to make you a guest host, and we'll see if I actually ask you to come onto the show. Or if
I hope you do.
If I just say that you're a guest host.
I remember the first time I heard about Talking Nog, I thought it was your projects. Like the two of you got together to make a project, and this is what
I
you
wish.
came up
Will,
with.
do you want to co-host Talking Nog this year?
My dream is that Jeff messages me on Facebook and asks if I want to collaborate on something.
So I listened to the dumb show, and the whole time it's just like, when's Will going to show up? And at the end, you didn't show up. I was like, well, this has been a total waste.
I'm just there at the
I
end.
didn't learn about eggnog. Like, it's a gross drink.
It's delicious and wonderful. It's creamy and yolky.
Yep. Those are the two things about it.
All right. Nutmeg or no nutmeg?
I'm a nutmeg guy.
All
I'm
right,
big on
incorrect. The correct answer is throw it away. It's a gross drink. And there's no fixing it.
Do you have any homemade eggnog?
We do. We make it every year.
Because I've heard
Starting last year.
to have
It's
a
just
legitimate.
been in the sun since last year.
No.
You have
Yes.
to age it.
You do actually legitimately have to age it, though.
Oh, all right.
About
Do you
several
bury
days.
it in the yard like kimchi.
Jeff, you should know how to make eggnog. You just said you were doing it.
You age it like that. I was trying to think of the name of that fish that they make.
Something Carl. You mean
Futanari.
The rotten one that Bobby Hill eats in that episode of King of the Hill.
lutefisk.
Lutefisk, yes. Anyway,
Lutefisk?
Lutefisk.
Yeah, lutefisk.
It's a fish that they bury in dirt.
Scandinavian ludicrous.
It's a fish they bury in dirt until it congeals into a
It
gelatin,
gels.
and then they eat it.
Mm.
And Bobby Hill ate a bunch of it on an
Yep.
episode of King of the Hill, and he burned the church down because he had to go to the bathroom, and he lit matches to try and cover up the smell.
It was a comedy of errors.
Sounds better than eggnog.
Will, what have you been watching?
Well, you know me. I'm very artistic, and
Ooh,
so
yes.
I went to see Murder on the Orient Express,
Oh, the mustache movie.
the mustache
Yes,
movie, because
yes.
I can't pronounce the guy's name, who's the main character.
Hercule Poirot.
Yeah, you guys saying it. Here's the thing. I say that to everybody that asks about it. It doesn't matter how many times you say his name to me, I can't pronounce it.
That's fair.
So
You can't pronounce whose name?
Jeff, you wanna?
Hercule Poirot.
Thank you.
Okay.
You try it, Noah.
Yeah,
No.
please.
I just heard it 3 times. I still don't know what it is. Hercules Mulligan? Is that what it was?
That would be easier.
How was it, Will?
It was really good. It was one of those movies. I guess it's like Iron Man in this, where the plot starts to happen, and I'm like, "Ooh, stop it! I don't need that. I just want these charming people to keep talking to each other."
Oh, gotcha,
All right.
gotcha.
Yeah, every Iron Man, I'm like, don't fight. Can't get out of here. Just keep
You
being...
just want to see his life
Yeah,
slowly deteriorate
Yeah.
Yeah.
as he
Well,
pushes
as
away
he
the
makes
people that he
quips.
loves.
Yeah, but he's still, like, funny.
Yeah, right.
That's what I want.
And that's the same with all these people. Their lives have been ruined by a past tragedy.
Sure.
But they've put on these fronts of being friendly and charming and
And
happy.
enjoyable,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. And I like that false attitude they have.
All right.
So on 3 occasions, people have been talking about this movie in front of me. And I was like, ooh, I don't want spoilers, and walked away. And on all 3 occasions, they said, how could there be spoilers for a book that came out, 100 years ago?
I don't think I've ever read an Agatha Christie novel.
Yeah, and to that I say, who's read every book that's come out 100 years ago? No one. Shut up. Let me enjoy the movie. A public
didn't ruin
service
it.
announcement.
It's also a mystery
I'm not
movie.
looking at you. I'm looking at the camera.
It's also a mystery movie, and like
Spoilers will ruin it.
it's kind of the
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
a specific point of that movie is who. It's literally described as a whodunit,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and so telling me whodunit has taken away at least one of the
Yeah.
core points.
It
of the
was
movie.
really cool not to know who done it and to figure stuff out after that guy found those clues
Right.
for me. Like he did the hard part, and then I get to be like, "Oh, I'm pretty good at detective too."
Yeah, I could be a detective.
Yeah.
Once I have another person
Yeah.
assemble the clues and
Well,
tell me why they're
It's not
significant.
like it's not like watching Psych when they zoom in on the detail and like highlight it in blue, and you're like, oh, I know that. That's a clue. I got this. Mystery solved.
Yeah. Will, we need you to solve this murder. Okay. Where are the clues? We don't know. No,
All right.
I need all the
Yeah,
clues.
you-
First thing I'm gonna do is run the cursor along the screen until I find hyperlinks.
I'm gonna
And then I'm
press
gonna click
tab
those links
until the link is highlighted. I cheat at Flash games.
all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I love all these jokes. So I watched it's the best movie that is for no one, is what I've been saying
All
in
right.
my review. It's on Netflix. It's called The Babysitter.
Oh, I have heard of this.
Oh, that's the cult movie where
Yeah.
they're murder cultists.
It's real good. It's a kid who's like gets picked on a lot, but he's got a super cool babysitter. And then his friend from school convinces him not to go to bed when she says, because I bet her boyfriend comes over and they do kissy stuff.
Ooh.
And he stays up and he finds them playing like spin the bottle.
It's kissy stuff.
And then the nerd has to kiss everybody, and she stabs him and kills him and sacrifices him so that they can remain pure. And like the movie just makes this hard right turn into like Insaneville.
I really wanted to see that.
Yeah, spoilers, no.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, that is a huge spoiler, but if you were to watch this film, you would have had to have found it on Netflix, where that is already given away from you.
Yeah, the trailer is...
Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie's really good, but it's not going to be successful. It would only be successful if it came out like in the 90s and they just showed it on HBO all the time.
Okay.
And then it was just like, what is this? Like you would have to stumble upon it and just wonder what it is. Like if you were a kid who wasn't allowed to watch HBO, but your parents were asleep and you snuck down, this would be the greatest movie ever made to you.
That's what happened with me in The Gallows.
The Gallows?
Yeah. I accidentally watched it, and because of the way it's presented, because it's a found footage movie, I didn't know it was fake until significantly into the movie. I thought it was on the weird Stockton channel that's around here,
Oh.
and it was like an art thing.
It's like, this is
And then I was like,
interesting.
children are dying.
Yeah. Put the camera down and help those children.
What are you doing?
But it's super good. It's very well written. Like there is not a wasted line of dialogue. Every word is important to that movie. It's so good. And it won't be praised as it should be, in my opinion. But it's real good. Check out The Sitter, or The Babysitter, excuse me. The Sitter's a terrible Jonah Hill movie. The Babysitter is a good movie on Netflix. Check it out. Jeff, what you reading?
I am going to do the plus two comedy tradition of cheating and using a podcast.
Nice.
We are not well read.
I have been listening to a podcast called I Only Listen to the Mountain Goats.
Is this your new project?
Qua?
Surprisingly, no. It's by Joseph Fink, the guy that does Welcome to Night Vale and Alice Isn't Dead. And it is an interview podcast where he interviews John Darnielle, the lead singer of the band The Mountain Goats, every single week to learn about his creative process. And what they're doing is going track by track through one of the Mountain Goats albums, All Hail West Texas. And every week they have a different band come and cover it. And every week they just talk to him for a long time about where he was when he wrote the music, the history of the song, where it fits sort of into the sort of mythology of it. And it's a really cool look at music and the creative process and also fandom, because the whole thing is this weird space where they're going from fan and creator to friends, and these other people are coming in. And also I have a gigantic crush on John Darnielle from the Mountain Goats, because he can talk about anything forever. Mm-hmm. And he's just dreamy, and he's got the soul of an artist. And Will, what have you been?
A little verklempt there.
Is he beardy?
No, he's kind of tweedy looking.
Really? Because I only know John Darnielle from his appearances on the podcast Judge John Hodgman.
Okay.
He's a frequent guest on there, and so I only know his voice, and so I've pieced together what John Darnielle looks like.
He kind of looks like a Billy Crudup.
I don't know what
from
that
Big
is.
Fish. The
like
son
a Billy
from
Goat?
Big Fish.
Okay.
He got a little bit of that. If he was it's like his brother that's in a folk punk band.
All right, putting those pieces together in my brain.
And it's just really cool, and the music on it is really, really good, and the covers are good, and the discussions are always great. It's a great podcast. Highly recommended.
All right, that sounds interesting. I might actually give that one a try. Excuse me. Will, what do you read?
I'm also going to cop out.
Cool.
I was listening to a show I catch up on sometimes called What You Missed in History Class.
Okay.
And I listened to a really good one about the 1826 eggnog riots.
Oh, really?
Probably the
eggnog
best
riots, yeah.
eggnog podcast I think I've ever listened to. Probably the only interesting eggnog podcast.
Now, I want to interject here and say I had a bit that I actually prepared for what you're reading, in which I was going to talk about how I had finally found an interview podcast about nerdy topics and how it was called The Nerdist. And I was going to do a whole bit here, and I put it aside, and I didn't do it because I was like, you know what? I've been mean to Will, and he's a good friend, and I like Will, and Plus 2 Comedy was a real inspiration for me to get into podcasting, and I'm not going to be mean to him anymore. And then you go and do this to me.
Yeah, I had worked on it, and I didn't want to. I hadn't read anything else.
All right, fair. You know what? I understand your predicament.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else to say.
So this is an important question, Will. I only have time this year to listen to one eggnog podcast. How good was this podcast?
It's not that interesting. There's a bunch of drunk people causing problems.
Sounds pretty good.
feel like I could have made it interesting, but that's just me.
Hey,
in all honesty, I'd rather have listened to Jeff talk about it.
You have something to research.
I'm gonna have to talk about that now. Yeah.
Because what has changed in the world of eggnog?
It's been a big year for eggnog. Peeps made a big foray into the world of Easter Nog.
Yeah.
They released Mallow Nog, which was something that I talked about on the first Talking Nog, so I take 100% credit for Mallow Nog being a thing.
See, I thought they would have gone eggnog-flavored Peeps.
You'd have thought, but they went full-on eggnog.
See, either way, you're turning a really gross thing into a really gross thing.
Yeah, so it just goes together.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just being attacked here. I came here to have a good time.
No, I'm not attacking you. I'm attacking eggnog.
And everything you believe in.
You're attacking me. You're attacking my heart and my soul.
Do you like Peeps, too?
No, Peeps
are
a garbage food.
That would have been the line.
Peeps are a garbage food.
It's the same thing, right?
It's not at all.
It's just a goo.
It's not at all.
The main ingredient is goo.
It's shame.
They make it out of horse hooves.
Peeps are shame and hatred.
And eggnog is liquid shame.
Eggnog is the holiday spirit and warmth and love and Christmas time.
Ooh, don't drink it warm. It's made out of all spoilable things. Spoilable.
A warning from Plus 2 Comedy.
A warning from Talking Nog. Drink your eggnog however you like.
Ugh.
As long as you're enjoying this delicious beverage with the people that you care about at a time of year about family and togetherness and love.
Don't include this in your podcast, I swear to God. I don't want to be part of Talking Nog, so I don't want to hear you saying things that you could then cut into your show.
Too late.
I've read a thing, and I would like to speak about it
All right,
now.
let's hear it. What you been reading?
I read a creepypasta called No End House because there's a show called Channel Zero that turns creepypastas into series.
Oh, that's that thing I was trying to tell you about.
Oh, okay then.
I thought it was called Candlelight Cove.
Candlelight Cove was the first season.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then the second season they did No End House, and it's close to a murder game show. In the story, it's a haunted house. If you get through 9 rooms, you get $500.
Can I run through them real quick?
There was some issues in that strategy.
Okay.
But the creepypasta is really good, and the creepypasta does that thing a creepypasta does, where the horror is the things you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of just ends with, like, a terrible thing, and, you fill in the blank. You can't do that with a TV show.
No.
The TV show, it was 6 episodes, and by the end of it, I was like, oh, wait, then why did this happen? Why did this happen? What happened to this person? And there's a huge problem in TV today that I've noticed where they want to be shocking, and they just do that to get in the way of telling a good story. Because it's like, all right, here's a really cool character. We're not sure what his motives are, and we never will because he's dead. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So skip the show, read the creepypasta. It's the difference between 30 minutes and 3 hours, so just read the creepypasta. No End House. It was very enjoyable. So, Jeff, I want to throw it back to you. What are you playing?
I'm writing a role-playing game, and I've been playing a lot of that. It's called Mission Accomplished. There's a salute in the title, and a colon, and an exclamation
How do you
point.
spell it?
Haven't decided yet,
Okay.
but I know that I got to integrate that salute.
Mm-hmm.
It is the role-playing game of super spies in terrible office meetings. Actually, I'm going to shamelessly plug a thing. I'm going to be playing it live on the 17th at 4:30 p.m. Everything is Awesome, which is another interview podcast, is doing their 100th episode live at Amalgam Comics on the 17th. And I'm going to be doing a playthrough of this role-playing game that I wrote. The premise is you're a team of super spies who have come back from a successful mission, but things have gone wrong, and you have to have an office meeting to figure out who is getting credit for what went right and who's getting the blame for all the things that went wrong. And the way it works is you fill it in retroactively through index cards and written reports. You talk about the things that other people did wrong, and then I reveal them to the group as the person running the office meeting.
So it's a little bit of shades of Nye, My Evil Overlord.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
But a little bit less structured.
Gotcha. More freeform.
Yeah.
Cool. I dig it. And that's the 17th?
The 17th at 4:30.
Cool.
At Amalgam Comics and Coffee House in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Awesome.
Philadelphia,
Go to that.
Texas.
William, you play anything good?
Yeah, it's probably the best indie role-playing game I've ever played.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. I just wanted to be mean again.
I was really hoping there was at least a salute in the title.
If I knew that Jeff was doing that, I would have researched another indie role-playing game.
See that? Snuck up on you.
Yeah, you did. That's how you gotta plug your stuff.
Yep.
I've been playing Puzzle Fighter.
I've been playing Puzzle Fighter as well.
I haven't
Super
gotten
Puzzle
to play
Fighter.
it yet, and I'm really excited.
It's a lot of fun.
The fact that it's not just Street Fighter, it's also just all of Capcom.
Right.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Because gotten that far.
Because I unlocked Frank West Desperado, Rough Rider.
Yeah, do it again.
And Hagar from Final Fight.
Oh.
So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, Mega Man's going to be in
Macho
this
Man.
game. So I know Mega Man's in it. I know Jill Valentine's in it. So Dante's in it.
Naming a lot of characters without naming the most important inclusion, which is that Capcom finally included Dan Hibiki in another game.
I don't know if he's playable.
He's the trainer.
Yeah, he's the tutorial. I don't know if he's
beat
playable.
him up
pal.
good.
Capcom, I know you're listening to this. If Dan Hibiki is not a playable character in your game, I am gonna be so upset. Don't do this to me. Hashtag no Dan, no sale.
Now it's free.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. I won't click on any of their ads.
We end all of our podcasts with a game. It's time for host versus guest versus audience this week. I've stuck it in my notebook.
You also have to tell Jeff. His
we
score.
do. This is very important. Jeff, you took part in the Nintendo World Championship.
Yes.
Again.
Correctly this time. And you scored 143,090 points. And that puts you in second place.
I'll take it.
Couldn't quite beat John Deere, but you beat both me and Will, and you beat Vlad Radnoff.
I'll take it.
What about Paul Falchetta?
He beat Paul as well.
Okay. I'm still not relenting in my investigation into video game ethics.
I'll take a solid second.
His confidence level was also pretty good. So they went in equal confidence, and he was able to beat Paul Falchetta. So that's pretty impressive. All right, now we end all of our podcasts with a game. It's time for host versus guest versus audience. I have the first season of Super Friends still in the crate. So that is today's gift.
That's pretty good.
Jeff,
Good gift.
Jeff, what did you bring?
I brought, because it is the season, I brought this beautiful red and green set of Chessex role-playing game dice.
I saw those on Twitter.
And I also brought a holiday mystery prize.
Oh, I wonder what it could be.
I honestly don't know what it is.
It's eggnog. It's eggnog. I brought eggnog.
I wish I could.
It's Wawa eggnog. It is a sort of a classic beginner's eggnog. It's pre-made. You get all it's ready to be spiced and spiked with your choice of alcohol. It is non-alcoholic because I know that is the guidelines for the Plus 2 Comedy Podcast. But it is just a wonderful,
Thank you.
An opportunity for you to enjoy the tastes of the season. And
there's been a bottle of eggnog just getting warm under this table for the past 45 minutes.
Oh, it's been like an hour and a half. We got here real early.
Yeah, you want to leave egg yolks out in a room for a while. Can I also point out that there is an ingredient in here called milk solids? Don't like that. And that's all I can pronounce.
Yeah. Yeah, the main character from Murder on the Orient Express, also a ingredient. To play host versus guest versus audience, we need an audience member. They need to bring a prize for us to enjoy. What did you guys bring this week? I see a Wawa coffee.
Oh, those are dope.
A coffee cake? Or
No,
a coffee
it's chocolate.
A coffee chocolate?
4 of them make 1 cup of coffee, right? That's the math on there? Oh, there's math on there.
It's floor trash. She hasn't read it.
No, that's not floor trash. That's...
I see a can of Monster Energy Zero Ultra.
Ooh,
and I see a bottle of Holiday Mountain Dew.
Ooh,
the best holiday drink currently available.
See, I like the cranberry Sprite?
Why ruin the bit with your incorrect Sprite opinions?
We could have teamed up and both not like
Jeff, it is your choice.
I think I got to go with the Mountain Dew holiday brew.
You're going to go with the Mountain Dew.
I want that
go full
chocolate.
Christmas.
Can I just have that chocolate later? No, not now, later.
You know they make a chocolate eggnog.
But don't put it back in your pocket because it'll stay melted.
Yeah, turn that on and I'll turn you up a little bit.
Is it on?
Introduce yourself.
I'm just going to tell you to do more stuff.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, hi, I'm Laura.
Hi, Laura.
I do have an announcement to make. Dan Hibiki, playable character.
Yeah!
Why you got to do that?
You've been really mean to Jeff today.
Capcom, thanks. I knew you got me. I knew you had my back.
The power of our podcast.
Hashtag yes Dan, yes sale.
Jeff, if you win this, I'm going to make a video of you drinking a glass of half eggnog,
warm milk,
Mountain Dew holiday blend.
I'm sorry, warm eggs. That doesn't sound so bad. Warm raw eggs.
So Jeff has been on the show before, and
actually, there's a point of real controversy about whether you should be cooking your eggs or serving them raw in eggnog. I tend to come down on the cook side.
Stop doing your show. Stop doing your show.
Wait, cooked? So is it just a mug with milk and omelet pieces?
It's a rumlet.
Oh my
God.
God.
Rum omelet.
It is a rumlet, basically.
We're gonna play a game that we rarely play on the show because it's opinionated. But
that's gonna go great.
I don't care. We're gonna play the metagame. I have a list of 100 people. I will give you a topic, and you will give me a number, and you must argue that person is the best person to answer that question. So we're going to start with the easy one, which is who would win in a fight.
Okay.
And you will randomly choose who you must argue for.
Wait, who decides?
I'm going to decide.
I don't like that.
I will turn to the crowd if I am torn.
Yeah, I can bully them.
So who would win in a
Maybe
fight?
not you.
Will, give me a number.
Number 1.
Number 1, Spider-Man.
That's a good
Spider-Man, good choice.
That's a good one.
Jeff Stormer.
Number 69.
Number 69.
Nice.
Nice.
Number 69 is Dan Hibiki.
No, that's real easy to set up if you know Jeff.
Laura.
Dead.
Pick a number, please.
23.
Number 23, fantastic Jim Carrey film, is Scruff McGruff.
Ooh, the crime dog.
So Spider-Man versus Dan Hibiki versus Scruff McGruff. Will, why
You're
would
disadvantaged at this time?
why would Spider-Man win this fight?
He's got the biggest set of powers out of anybody here. He's got spider senses. He has relative spider to man strength.
Right.
That fluctuates from series to series, but he'll usually lift a car, sometimes a subway car. Webbing, either from his own wrist or from a device he makes that shoots them. Super reaction time and speed, and really good Marvel movie.
All right, very good. Jeff, why would Dan Hibiki beat up Scruff McGruff and Spider-Man?
Well, Scruff McGruff is bound by the law and therefore cannot exercise lethal force.
Nice, nice.
You know, he's got...
Which law do you know that doesn't exercise lethal force?
Fair point. Police are awful.
I mean, Dan Hibiki
But Dan
and well, depends which Spider-Man.
Hey, this is Jeff's time.
I just want to know which
Scruff
minorities Scruff McGruff is going
Okay.
to
Scruff McGruff believes in law and order. He is the only good cop in a corrupt city, and therefore he is not going to use lethal force.
Solid.
And therefore, Dan Hibiki, who is the ultimate tactician, will be able to undermine his powers. Also, Scruff McGruff cannot throw fireballs. Dan Hibiki can throw fireballs. Also, Spider-Man sees the humanity in people, and therefore would see the humanity with Dan Hibiki. This is a mistake because Dan Hibiki will cheap shot you at a moment's notice. Spider-Man would relate to the fact that Dan Hibiki's father was murdered by Sagat, and Spider-Man's Uncle Ben was murdered by, I believe, the Sandman or a random criminal.
Yes.
Dan Hibiki would use this to his advantage,
Joe
and then
Chill.
just a quick low blow to the crotch, and then Spider-Man's out because he's a child, and children are weak.
Interesting. Laura, why would Scruff McGruff win this melee?
So Scruff McGruff would take a bite out of crime. So he would take Peter Parker's truant butt and he would go after Aunt May because he'd be like, your kid's not at school. And she'd be like, I'm his guardian. Then you're going to jail too. So he'd go after Aunt May. He'd go
That's
after
how truancy works.
Peter Parker. I'm just assuming. I know about as much of the law as Scruff McGruff does. And Scruff McGruff's got more economic power because he came of age during the 80s. So he's from that baby boomer generation. So he would just economically depress Dan Hibiki until he has to get a wage job.
Dan Hibiki's already very broke. That's a fool's move.
In that case, he'd go after him for arson because he throws fireballs.
Admittedly.
And he would take a bite out of Dan Hibiki.
Interesting. Very, very well argued. I think the flaw in Jeff's is Spider-Man needs to know a lot about Dan Hibiki for this plan to work. I don't know how much he would know about Dan Hibiki. Scruff McGruff actually had a pretty good argument. I might give this one to Scruff McGruff.
Take a bite out of crime.
I got no argument from the crowd, so I'm going to give the point to Laura on that one.
Those row of empty chairs is not really voicing an opinion.
We have time for another round. So who would be the best president? Jeff, give me a number.
96.
Number
Nice.
96.
Eakin.
Ekin.
From 96, it's Bonesaw from Spider-Man.
Jeff, just point at reality. That's where we're at.
Laura?
17?
Number 17, all the way back at the top here. And that's Cobra Commander.
Can I trade it with Will for whatever he gets? I can't.
No, there's no trading. We've actually had this argument before on the show.
I can't take this from him.
It's all right.
And Will?
13.
Number 13, lucky number 13. But that's pork chop from Doug.
Okay.
All right.
Jeff, we're starting with you this
Man, I
time.
wish I had Cobra Commander.
So Bonesaw. Here's the thing.
What's the thing, Jeff?
We all know Thanos is coming. We all know. The trailer already dropped for Infinity War. We know Thanos is coming. We need a president with a strong understanding of metahuman issues and experience in corralling and organizing metahuman task forces. The Avengers is an independent organization that's not enough. We need a president that can ready us in this trying time. Bonesaw fought Spider-Man in the ring, saw his powers, and said, I can wrestle him anyway. He understands
but
that
he couldn't even make it through 3 minutes of playtime.
he understands that superpowers aren't going to win the fight with Thanos. We're going to need heart, we're going to need perseverance, and also...
Thank you, Jeff.
I lost it. I lost the thread on it.
This is good.
Laura?
So with this supernatural threat coming, you need someone with organizational experience.
Have we just agreed a supernatural threat's coming?
Did you not watch the Infinity War trailer?
Seriously.
But that's
a great
not
trailer.
real life. Is it?
We're going to choose.
Would you
He's
be
already
surprised
got
at this
2
point?
of the Infinity Stones. Will.
Yeah. Loki sold us out.
Predictable.
All right. Go on.
Typical Loki. Ew, I just touched the microphone.
Yeah, they're gross.
So you need somebody with organizational experience, and out of those 3, no one has more organizational experience than Cobra Commander, who has been running Cobra semi-successfully for some time now.
Cobra Commander couldn't even run a fast food restaurant, which was the plot of an episode of G.I. Joe.
Yeah, you ran out of money one time, and then all the henchmen had to go to unemployment. That's also an episode.
I didn't watch a lot of G.I. Joes.
I did. I watched a lot.
Well,
Do you know the one thing Cobra Commander hates more than G.I. Joe?
What's that?
It's drugs.
I hate to interrupt
For
this.
my new anti-drug task
I
force.
hate to interrupt this, but Will needs to explain why pork chop from Doug would be a great president. Go.
Yeah, he's a dog. And one time, Cobra Commander made a rock band that hypnotized people into loving cobras. Just, I think, to make himself feel better. And that's my argument.
These were all bad.
I think I'm going to give... What time is it? Yeah, I'm going to give no points to anyone on that one, which means Laura wins.
Oh, I don't want that filthy eggnog.
So
That's yours. You have to drink it.
No.
mix it with the Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
No, I did not accept those
I'll
terms.
take that back if you don't want
Yeah,
it.
no.
Yeah.
there
All
you
right.
go.
Are
Talking
you going to
Nog.
drink it? Oh, it's got solid milk.
What are you
bars.
doing? No, what are you... Don't shake it. He take the cap off.
I didn't take the cap off.
Well, it's
yet.
still got the safety.
It's still got the
seal.
It's still got the pull and twist on it.
Laura, thank you so
the
much.
nog, the nog guard.
Laura, so thanks so much for getting up here.
Goodbye.
Evacuate.
Ooh, mix it with the Mountain Dew thing.
That's gonna be a +2 comedy extra.
Yeah. Yeah, the Wednesday show +2 comedy extra.
Can you
Eggnog.
hand me my phone that's on the floor?
I can. Jeff, anything you want to plug that's
Sure.
not eggnog related?
Talking Nog can be found at soundcloud.com/talkingnog.
What did you say?
You can also email. We also need listener questions. Photos, stories about your first eggnog, controversial eggnog hot takes. You can email all of those. Was that your favorite eggnog recipes, your favorite eggnog-inspired dishes? You can email all of that to talkingnog@aol.com. Party of One can be found at partyofonepodcast.com, and All My Fantasy Children can be found at allmyfantasychildren.com. Also, next week, the 17th of December, Amalgam Comics, Everything is Awesome's 100th episodes. It is going to be 4:30. We are playing Mission Accomplished as an actual play episode. At 3:30 is an episode of Heart Points, which is another 2-player role-playing games podcast that I'm very excited about and I've been enjoying a lot, and was my other I'm listening to.
Will, anything to add?
Yeah, these are new. People are still sending these. Christopher Columbus messed up, that's not the word they used, where pineapples come from. That's not true. And pineapples may cure cancer. Also not true. So this has been 2 false facts about pineapples.
2 lies about pineapples. Exciting.
It's good nog.
Be sure.
You drank it.
Be sure to give us 5 stars on iTunes, 5 stars on Stitcher, vote for us on podcastland.com. Make us the podcast of the month. You can also like and subscribe to us on Twitch and on YouTube. Upcoming shows include next week we are canceled. And that's all I have prepared. So, but there will be some sort of there's no show. And as always, thanks to Net Neutrality for making this show possible. Go to battleforthenet.com. Almost confused that. And get information on how you can have your voice heard to support Net Neutrality. This is the Plus 2 Comedy Podcast. Thank you guys so much.